How you doing, guys? It's time. I'm back with another video. Hey, this one, I just wanted to talk about a couple things. Yeah, I got another haircut. I got them all cut, like I always do. Amy cut them. Um, the well, the internet's out again, so I'm making this video on Saturday morning, and our internet went out Friday. Like when we got up, it was out. All day Friday. And again, they string you along like, oh, 2 p.m. and then 3 a.m. and then 2 p.m. and whatever. But I mean, it's obviously something to do with the switchover between, because PLDT just bought Sky cable and internet, right? And I guess PLDT has a company called Cigna that sort of provides TV cable also. So there's something going on. They're going to probably merge, and hopefully, supposedly, it's going to help both companies. Like in other words, if you're a Sky customer and you're a PLDT customer, like separately, you're both going to have like, like PLDT will maybe have better cable TV now or something, right? And then of course, I don't know if Sky could really improve. I mean, they were pretty good, unless their internet gets faster somehow or whatever. So we'll see what happens. I just hope it's not out for too long. Because, our girl just went back to school last week and, she's got homework and stuff and, you know what I mean? But luckily she doesn't have to go back for, at least another couple, 3 days. So we'll see, Um, it's funny. I was trying to hook up I brought a VCR DVD combination player. Do you remember those? This is like literally 20 years old. It's from like 2003. And I brought it here because I also brought some tapes and DVDs. Not like a ton, but just enough to like for stuff like this, right? For when your internet's out, you know. And yesterday I was trying to hook it up, and it wasn't working. Like when I was just using the controls on the unit on the combo unit, and the remote control batteries were burnt out, so it wasn't working. Well, this morning I just replaced the batteries on the remote. Now I could go in there and program it. I did everything, and it works. I played a tape, just a little bit of a tape, and it worked and everything. So if it's out again tonight, if it's still out, the internet, I guess we're gonna watch a movie or something that I brought. But anyway, it's yeah. Hopefully, you really become reliant on the internet. You don't really realize how much you rely on it until you're without it. But it's not like I don't keep busy. I mean, I'm always, I exercise and do things, but anyway. Well, one of the things I wanted to mention though is that there's different companies that you can use in the Philippines or in the U.S. Like if you're in the U.S. and you want to send somebody in the Philippines something, there's a certain amount of companies, like, and I would advise you probably not, even with documents, don't want to use like FedEx or UPS or DHL or because it's going to be like a lot more expensive to do that. Okay, and I'll give you an example. I just had some documents sent from Chicago, from my hometown, and my brother did it for me. This works if you have somebody, in your home city or state that can do this, but it also works if there's an LBC. Like I use LBC, okay? I've never used like Atlas or Forex, and there might even be one other company, but those are the ones that stick in my head. I think there was one that was in the west suburbs in Chicago, but I don't remember if that might have been Forex. And I think that's the one where they don't ship technology stuff. Like you can't ship a phone or a laptop or anything because I think they only ship by air. They don't have like by boat option, you know. Atlas, yeah, Atlas might be the same. You know, like you can dig into this if you want, but I'm just telling you. I can tell you all about LBC because that's the one I've always used, and I've used them several times. And there's two of them in Chicago. There's one in the city, kind of on the north side, far north, and then a little bit west, northwest side. And then there's one that's in Elk Grove, which is just west of the airport, O'Hare Airport. And that's the one I've always used. You know, I mean, I've sent like what they consider to be like what are their medium boxes or something like that. They're like a regular sort of box like this by air. I used to send that to periodically, every so often, like to Amy and her family and stuff, like when I was still in Chicago and I was stuck there. And then before I came here to live, I sent like six the bigger boxes by boat. And at the time, that took I think it was taking like 3 months because we were still sort of in the tail end of the pandemic or whatever. And there was a lot of backups in the docks and all that. So things were taking long, by boat. Now I think it's back down to like 2 months, from at least from Chicago to Manila by boat or whatever. It's like 2 months. And by air was even back during the pandemic. It would take like 3 weeks, and now it's like 1 week, less than 1 week. It's like 5-6 days usually. Whether it's a box you're sending by air with stuff in it or whatever, or whether it's an envelope, like a documents envelope. But check this out, right? I just had my brother send me, like some documents, right? And kind of a manila folder size, right? And then the LBC puts it in one of their, larger envelopes. And it got here in like basically 6 days because of the time difference. He sent it Wednesday, Chicago time. And I think I got it Wednesday, Philippine time. But, it's 14-hour difference or whatever. Or 13 hours now, I forget. Spring ahead, yeah, 13 hours. And then when fall behind, when we go back an hour in the U.S., then it's 14-hour difference. At least Central Time compared to Philippine time. So anyway, 6 days, man, right? $11. Okay, $11. You know how much that would cost if I would have freaking used all those American carriers that I rattled off at the beginning of this? It would have cost probably $60, right? Anywhere between like 50 and $70, man. I guarantee. So, like I said, I've never had a problem with LBC, man. They're there was one time when I kind of had a backpack that I was sending them, and then I had a laptop in there. And I didn't pack it very good. And then, unfortunately, the guy that was helping me was a guy that normally doesn't pack. It was a guy that normally works in the office. And I thought, okay, he's going to put it in his box or he's going to really, and then pack the hell out of it, But he didn't really do that. And I was thinking, I didn't know what to say, So I was like thinking, okay, well, I guess it'll be okay. Well, something happened with the laptop, and like I said, we don't know for sure, if it happened in transit or whatever. But I mean, the bottom line is if you're going to send technology items, make sure you pack them up really good, you know what I mean, before they put them in the box that they're going to use. If you don't use your own box, I used to use their box mostly, But yeah, just make sure you pack stuff like that. Now, we got the laptop fixed, and I got a good deal on it, by the way. It was like 1 year old when I bought it on eBay, and it was like $350. It was like a 17-inch screen, I believe, or maybe 15 and a half. It was a good sized screen, Lenovo, right? It was a good laptop, believe me. It still is. I still got it, and luckily, we found a guy sort of closer to Amy's old neighborhood, a computer repair place. Also, they fix phones. And I think it was all labor. But I mean, I think it was 4,000 peso, which is about $72. And I was like, I was thinking, yeah, please be under 5,000. You know what I mean? Like, I was just thinking, man, I don't want to pay like some huge amount where I'd be better off just buying a new one or something, and then wasting that one. So it worked out, in my mind, it worked out pretty good. That's pretty cheap for a repair of a laptop. So, and it's been fine since, you know what I mean? Like, um, but, but yeah, like I said, the envelope was very inexpensive, man. $11. I mean, it's amazing, you know? Um, but and like I said, that was the only one time. I mean, I've sent stuff like a lot, you know what I mean? Like, several times I've sent boxes, and I never had any issues, So that's who I use, and there, like I said, there's two of them in the Chicago area. There's a lot of them in most major cities. I think you're going to have one that's going to be not too far from you. I can't really speak for the other companies, for like Atlas. There was an Atlas in Chicago in the Seafood City grocery store, which is like a huge Filipino grocery store with a Jollibee in there and a little food court and a Red Ribbon. I mean, it's almost like it's not like just one grocery store, but it's sort of. But anyway, there was an Atlas in there, and I remember getting information from them, but I never used them. They're probably okay, But so anyway, again, documents, dudes. And what could you put in a document folder when you're sending it? I don't know. Use your imagination. But I mean, it's yeah, it worked. It worked fine, But I mean, I'm happy about it, But yeah, I mean, it was like it was just something I needed from the U.S. It was documents, But I guess that's all I wanted to talk about, And then, like I said, hopefully this. Oh, by the way, they LBC. Speaking of documents, LBC, they will do like passports, or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? If you needed to send a passport, or from the U.S. to here, if you're living here, or I guess vice versa. But they do passports and birth certificates. So more than likely, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I didn't bring that with me. If you're living here, and then you're like, hey, maybe one of your relatives can send it to you, while you're, from the U.S. to here. That's right, more than likely what you're going to be doing. But they do that, And yeah, so anyway, like I said, I sort of, I recommend them. I mean, I don't know, are they perfect? Probably not. Nobody's perfect, right? But I really haven't had too many issues with them, Like I said, that one issue was sort of like, that was my fault. I mean, I should have just packed it better, you know what I mean? I just kept thinking, oh, they'll put it in another box and then they'll pack the hell out of it. But they didn't quite do that, but like I said, if it was another guy that I would be doing that in the warehouse part of the place, it probably would have been fine, but so, but yeah. So anyway, what else did I want to talk about? I think that was about it. I did get a new microphone. I don't know if you guys noticed. I don't have any weird buzzing noises coming from the microphone. It's a knockoff, just like this. Can't see it. I don't put it right in front of my face like some podcasters do. They got this $300 Shure microphone, in front of them, and it's like, yeah, I spend money. This was, what was it? 1,000 peso, I think. 1,000 peso. I was thinking about a JBL that's very similar to this. They have JBL. By the way, they have JBL products here, in Manila. at the malls and stuff. Headsets and everything. Like, so you can get like American products. Here. You but yeah, but the JBL though, it's just a little too much, man. It was like 5,000 peso or something like that, and I'm thinking, man, I don't need to spend that. And so we looked around, and I saw this, and I go, wow, and it's very similar. You know what I mean? Like it's got even more controls on it, actually. You know. But yeah, I just thought I would mention that. um, I think that's about it, guys. I can't think of anything else. The weather's been pretty nice. It hasn't really been, when it rains, it just rains a little bit, not for forever. You know what I mean? That's kind of what rainy season really is. It's like short periods of time, rain, sometimes hard rain, and then it will stop, and then the sun comes out, and everything's dry again. An hour later, everything's dry. So, I'll think of something else though, guys. But for now, that's it. I hope you guys please like, comment, share, subscribe, and comment. Yeah, definitely send me a comment if you want. Like I get them sometimes from my regular viewers and stuff. But got something to say, go ahead. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you guys have a great weekend coming up. It's already Saturday here in the Philippines. It's Friday night in the U.S. By the time this gets on, who knows, whenever my internet comes back. I'm not using data to do this, on my phone, like eat up like a gigabyte of my data or whatever, So, all right, guys, I'll see you later, man. Have a good day.